Ooh,
That's different.
yeah.
I'm so disorganized.
We almost didn't make it.
No, I have Comcast coming on Thursday to put in a new modem. How's it, everybody? How is everybody doing? Oh, Marcia, you're back.
Well, having just got off the second MVP listening session, which was 5 to 6, and having spent virtually the entirety of the last 4 or 5 days doing town-related work, I'm about towned out.
Yeah.
You fried?
I was thinking that maybe we should take it easy tonight and just, instead of trying to reach out too deeply into the chapters we were going to go over, talk mostly about the survey. If you see how we feel about that.
Yeah, I mean,
How any further than that.
I can at best give you 45 minutes.
I get it.
I mean, Sunday was brutal. I was, all day and up till midnight making editorial comments on the MVP report and doing site visits on beaver dams on Old Ashby Road, and today issuing emergency certifications for breaching the dam, and between the
Thank you.
Concom meeting on Monday night and I'm delinquent in issuing God knows how many permits that we've dealt with.
The others may not be aware that we don't have an agent for about 6 weeks because he's getting shoulder surgery. So,
Oh, damn.
Which he had and now hopefully is recuperating, but he's going to be out for 4 to 6 weeks. So, I'm getting
Yeah.
constant emails from Heather saying they need sign off on, demo permits, on whatever, and so,
It'd be a nice job if you were getting paid.
I probably would have made an easy 10 grand in the last week if I was being paid. But that's the problem. I've always said, I think I worked harder when I was employed.
When you were
than
employed?
than I do now. So
All righty.
anyway,
So I agree.
enough complaining. But anyway, I'll do my best for 45 minutes, but then I'm
Yeah.
just kind of.
I get it. I agree.
Turn
So we'll declare this meeting open, the May 25th, 2021 meeting of the Open Space and Recreation Committee meeting is now officially open. And we will primarily be discussing the updating of our open space and recreation plan. We have a set of minutes to approve. I've looked at them, they look fine. I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes unless someone has comments or corrections, to approve the minutes of April 27th, 2021.
I'll second that.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I
Aye.
Dennis, aye.
Very good, okay. Fun, yes.
Lorraine, did you have the minutes listed as for March 23rd as well?
I did, but I couldn't find them right now. I saw them earlier in your email.
Did we not approve those already?
I don't know, but we could do it again.
Okay, I'll make the motion.
Well, second that motion to approve the minutes of
March 23rd.
March 23rd, 2021. Any discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Gary Howland, aye.
Coney, aye.
Great. So, 6. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Oh, that was the PDF. That's why it confused me. Okay, so
What's that?
That one was in the form of a PDF.
Oh,
Page
okay,
23, so,
okay.
okay, good. All right, well, why don't we just jump into the survey? Now, I have not made a meeting. I've set up a meeting for asking the Board of Selectmen again to fund the mailing. What I did notice, though, when I was looking through the plan itself, the paper plan, that in 2012, it was presented to the public in 2 forms, paper form and online.
Yeah.
And roughly, I can't quite, looking at this. it's a little-
326.
Well, they responded both ways, and one was about 317 I have.
Yeah.
Did it with paper, and about 30 did it online. So clearly, that was their chosen method. So the people have spoken, at least they did in 2012, that, and it's an example of why we should do it in paper again. Now, maybe they don't want it to be mailed, but
You're saying way back then, that most people filled out paper forms.
yes, at least 317 people
Wow. Versus 30?
versus 30, 33, something like that.
Okay, okay.
I think that probably also speaks to dissemination. I think, I don't think that it's bad to do both,
Hmm.
but I think we should still do both. Do you know how the paper was disseminated back in 2012?
I think it was just left at town hall. There's a letter at the beginning of it. And it indicates that the surveys could be picked up and returned in the land use department.
Oh my gosh, and 300 and something people did that?
I think
That
it was
seems-
mailed out, Lorraine. I
Yeah.
think
I
I,
was looking
say.
at that, but I didn't see
I'm like,
it.
I don't think the 300 people went to the land use.
no.
Yeah, no, you're right, but that's not, I
Pick it
I'm
up.
just trying to go by what was written down, but.
I
they-
think that one was actually sent out in the electric bill back when
I
they
think it
did
was
that.
sent out.
Got it.
in the
Yes.
electric
That
bill.
makes a lot more sense.
But we
I
can't
think
rely
we're
on the
gonna have to-
electric bill anymore. A lot of us
Oh,
are
good.
off of the paper electric bill, so.
Right. We need to-
Lorraine,
Well-
did you go at all recently to the board?
I have not yet,
Requesting
no.
them? No, okay.
It's
I
down
will,
to-
I will go to their, I will try to get on to their next agenda.
Because as you know, as you said, I guess at previous meetings, the money's been quote unquote allocated, but we can't spend it without their approval.
Right.
Okay.
What about if we could shorten the survey down to 1 page, or like 2 sides of 1 page, and I really firmly believe in that.
I can, you can.
But if it's only 1 page, if we could ask to put it with the electric bill of the people who do get it on through mail, that's going to hit the people who aren't going to fill out an online survey.
But they no longer do that.
They
Well-
don't do it.
They won't allow that anymore. They just don't do that, which is another reason why the town should be willing to pay for it to be mailed,
Yeah,
because
because
that service is no longer available.
and is that the town saying that, or is that the electric
The
company?
electric company, they send it out now. I don't think they do it in-house anymore.
They
I
don't
think
do
they
it
send
themselves.
it, they send it to a service and
Okay.
that's where it happens.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
So we have fewer options than we did before.
That's a bummer.
So I'll go,
Chris,
yes,
Chris, your edited survey is 5 pages. So I
That's-
guess,
The edited survey, the edited survey is simply posing a bunch of questions saying like,
Oh, I
we
know.
should take these 5 questions and make them one. I
Well,
didn't make them
well,
one yet.
that-
I kind of wanted to see if the group is okay with condensing some of those questions down.
Well, that's what I'm getting at. And so maybe if, we went through this and,
Yeah.
agreed or, on some of these consolidations that maybe we could get it down to 2 pages.
And I can squeeze type pretty well, so
Well,
I can.
you also
get
got to
it
be able to
from
read
the
it at the end of the day.
Well, I can do that too.
Pardon my
While doing
reading
that,
glasses,
I can make it smaller, Yes.
I had a question sort of based on the email I sent a few hours ago. So I said it kind of boils down to 4 things we want to know. And one of those categories is what are the sites that are most important to people? And we had a lot of questions that kind of danced around that thing, right?
Mhm.
So the basic sort of thing that I don't have an answer to is it better to list a bunch of sites and sort of check off, yeah, that's important, that one's not? Or is it better to just say, tell us, or say, here's a list of sites, you tell us the top 3 or the top 5 that are important to you. Because I think if we do one or the other, that's fine. I don't think we need to do both, but.
Well, let's just start with question 1. Do
Well,
we
you want
care?
me to share the screen? Because
Sure.
if I share, oh, I can't do it. Host is disabled that.
Okay. Do you
If
want
somebody shares
I-
the Google Doc,
I can share mine and I can share yours if you,
if it doesn't matter if you have the Google Doc.
I had it up here.
Just make him the host. He'll be able to share his screen.
I sent one out as well, so, but it was similar to what you were saying. Let me figure out how to do that, make you the host.
I'm looking at Chris's, comment edited version.
Yes,
Yep, okay.
and I sent one out too, and I'm trying to figure out Gary, how do I change him to be host? Gary?
You find participants, click the
Yep.
participants, and you
Okay.
should be able to pick Megan
Yeah.
Oh, shoot.
and make her the host.
Make
All
the
right, I'll
co-host.
go get her.
Okay, you should be
Hormone.
co-host.
All this hormone therapy. There we go. This should do it. So
There she comes. All right, there you go.
Okay. So, yeah, and I was just sort of brainstorming through this, so feel free to ignore any comments. But in terms of cutting things, do we want to know question 1? Is that important to us?
I'd say 1, 2 are. 3, I question.
Yeah, I would take 3 out.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll leave that comment there to remind us that okay. And then 4, I thought pretty much 4 and another one, 4 and 9 kind of say the same thing. What do we need more of? So if we take a look at 4, you can see how it's written there. I'm going to jump down and look at 9 for a second.
Oh,
So we'll come back to the other ones we're skipping. So 9 basically says, are these things sufficient or insufficient? What do we need? So that's basically what question 4 was asking, right? Does the town need more for, I mean, it's not identical, but do we need to
No.
separate these out by, ADA accessible?
I thought that 4 was a little too specific. It asked, it was looking for age, for some guidance on parsing it out to different age groups. And I thought that it should either be combined with something else. Instead of saying, do you think that the town should provide activities to a certain group? And then below that, I would say, what recreational activities do you think should be provided for the following groups? So I don't think we need to have it in there twice. And I, except for the handicap citizens, everything else is everyone can participate in all the other activities. So I don't see that that we need to have 2 questions. for
I
that.
think in number 9, you can cover the handicapped citizens there too. So
So I'm just going to make a note here. So you're saying 4 could be omitted, merge with 9.
Number 9, yep.
All right, so then if we look at 9, and do we like the way 9 is presented as, bear with, there it is. So 9 is showing the different activities that people could be doing. And we could even list, we could add a row like handicapped accessible trails as a separate category or something.
Yep.
And that draws that out.
Yeah, I think if you do that, then you can delete number 4.
Okay,
Get rid of 22.
But
Golf courses, yes.
say, all right.
Although, I mean, I suppose there
I
are
suppose.
areas, small areas, where a small golf course might be appropriate.
Yeah, well,
No,
yeah, golf
frisbee
course
golf.
is not
Not-
conservation land for sure.
why don't you just call it ADA accessible?
ADA accessible, all right, ADA. So I made a note, you can't see it right now, but I made a note at the bottom. It should, wait, I'm looking at number. Oh, I did it in number 7. Hang on a second. Put it in the wrong. I'm on 2 computers editing this thing, so bear with me a second.
Okay.
At number 9, we want to add ADA accessible. I'll add it later. Because Google Docs are kind of tricky to, Word is easier to edit, so. All right, some of these that it's showing in blue were just some wording. I didn't want to change any wording unless I left a record, so anything in black is from the original document.
Yep.
But I just added the word public ice skating facilities.
Okay.
I added the word, I added public swimming access. I mean, of course, that's going to be like the most demanded thing, but I think we should still
Yeah.
have it on the list.
Yeah.
I'm
We didn't have
surprised it's
public
not
swimming.
there already.
What's that?
I'm surprised it's not there already.
Yeah.
Public swimming pools is.
Never going to happen.
It's never gonna,
Oh, it's down there. All right, we'll put those 2 together. Swimming pools and then swimming. Maybe that should be public
one
lake
there.
access, pond or lake access, public.
but that won't ever
I'll say
happen.
pond or lake.
I hate to put it out there because
You're
we're
not-
suggesting that it's possible, and I don't believe
It's
it's.
not possible.
And somewhere in here, someone suggested, maybe it was you, Chris, Broadhurst Point. But I know that the Land Trust doesn't really like to advertise
It's
that.
getting
because
enough advertising already.
Right, we don't
it Can't
need.
handle too many people.
We'll
I
come
guess-
back to that. That's in a different question. That's a question of how important are these sites to you. So we'll see that.
Yeah.
We'll see that one in a minute.
I don't think so. So I don't think that we shouldn't. I don't think that we should say that it's not possible. It might not be possible right now, but if it's in our open space and recreation plan as being a priority, we might be able to get funding to, like, say a private property goes for sale that has lakefront access that might be good for public access. We might be able to get funds to buy that private property for the town.
The town already owns a slew of lakefront properties.
Right. So all I'm saying, what I'm hearing is that when I hear it's not possible, it means that those lakefront properties are not either adequate or the town doesn't have the will to make them adequate. But what I'm saying is that I think we should still keep it in because it is still a need. It's or
Because it doesn't
still a
exist.
desire. Right.
Yeah, no, I agree. In fact, but no one's ever really made a listing of all those properties and assessed them for their potential suitability.
That was done a while ago in one of the Heather's community meetings she used to have.
When was that, Cease?
When Heather was around and she used to have these community meetings, we did talk about that and looked at a couple of the properties.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well,
what, 2 years ago, maybe?
Again, I mean, there's a slew of things. I mean, I've got my own personal opinions about, particularly on a couple of the lakes. And if the town owns a property, then the town has access to the lake. That's just the way it is.
And all
Yeah,
of
because we were looking
planning
at one on Winnicke.
Yep. We
I
do.
mean, if you look at the Ashburnham Facebook page, someone just recently wrote, so where do I go swimming around here?
Yeah.
The,
All the
a
time.
lot of the answers,
What lake do you live on? That's the answer.
well, it's like, yeah, we'll be over at your house. What are you having for dinner?
We
but-
should start lobbying the state to do what our live free or die neighbors are doing. The state
We-
takes eminent domain if they got to. They'll get
Well-
access to every pond up there.
I didn't, in my time, all the great ponds, I don't want to get into this, but, I believe that, the public has the right of access to all great ponds. And there's legislation, regulations that exist that mandate that, and that all great ponds that are now under the management of lake associations are probably all in violation of said regulations. And I'm sure, the folks at Lower Naukeeg, Winnipeeg, and et cetera, would be thrilled to just know that they're in violation. But, after claiming it's a private pond, it's not a private pond.
No, but you should be prepared for tar and feathers. Anyone who undertakes that will be severely rebuffed. Just like the land trust is for Broadhurst Point.
I'm retired. What else have I got to do?
So we can't expect to resolve the perennial issue of finding public swimming here.
Not here anyway.
This is just on the survey, but seeing how this list gets really long, it does come back to my other question I started with is it better to provide a long list and let people check boxes?
Yeah,
Or give them nothing and just
No.
say, tell us the 3 things you do for fun,
no, I think it's better to jog their memory, and by listing all these things.
Okay. It is easier to tabulate the data if it's already.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Yeah,
we can put this in a computer as well, but
yeah.
okay. So we will that just makes the survey harder to squeeze into 2 pages because we have a long list, but.
No, but it's going to make it easier.
Okay.
And I think you're going to get,
Lorraine can
better
suggest-
responses too.
We can probably put it into like a couple of columns or something to scan
Yeah.
it. Okay.
So
So,
are we
And if
going
we
back
do,
to,
if we do a mailing, if we do an EDDM mailing, that mailing will probably be on a 12 by 18 sheet of paper.
okay.
So we can put a lot on a 12 by 18 sheet of paper. It'll be folded and it'll be, panels, but it will be larger than your standard letter size paper.
So would,
So we should go back up the top again?
Yep,
back to 5?
oh, well, before we leave this list, we keep golf courses in here, correct?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna delete my comment. And I was hoping, can we
And-
delete the
hey.
word fitness trails just seems repetitive. I mean, we have running trails, we have hiking trails.
Oh, I
don't
think
see how
that
a
means
fitness trail
like with exercise equipment on them,
Yeah,
yeah.
with
sort of
stations.
like what Dunn Park had, and
Okay,
Yeah.
fitness trails with equipment. Something like that.
yeah, and oh gosh, I just had another. Oh, can we add well, I don't know. Golf courses, disc golf is another thing that I don't know people.
How about
So-
/disc golf?
Yeah,
About what?
Disc golf. They play golf with frisbees now.
frisbee golf.
But if we have them on the
It's pretty
same
cool.
row, you don't know if somebody checked it because they're a golfer or a disc golfer.
Disc golfer.
Well, that's
Maybe
the
we just keep
circle.
that for other, I don't know.
We can add a
Well,
row.
you can just add them both.
Okay. So
Third row below.
And how do
How about ski areas?
we have that under?
We
in
have-
line?
We have it under ag.
skiing, sledding facilities,
Okay, fine.
number
Okay,
9.
Got it.
And then I
Number-
had a comment on that. Yeah, did we want to mention, I mean, it implies as if we could somehow create a skiing facility, is that, but I guess if we're including golf, we might as well include skiing, so.
The Bush Hill Trail groomed out is an excellent cross-country ski trail.
If somebody wanted to take that on.
Yeah.
Well, this is, I think it implies, I assumed downhill skiing because sledding is associated with it, but,
Well, then we should put cross-country skiing then.
oh, okay. Let me change.
Well, why don't you just put skiing and in parentheses, downhill / cross country?
Well, in that case, I guess just leave it as skiing, let people,
Figure it out, yeah.
because if we mean both, we'll just leave, it implies both to leave it blank, so, okay.
Number 24, downtown benches and seats. I've heard Bill Johnson recently talk about installing areas for people to take their lunches that they've purchased from the market or the sub shops and have a place to go and sit and eat in front of, and he was talking about in front of the library and in front of the town hall.
Yep.
So
I think picnic tables there would be like so easy to do and so valuable.
They're gonna put tables there. He's talking about putting tables there, getting a grant to do tables and have people eat there.
Yeah, picnic tables. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Because,
I don't know if they're
What's in-
picnic tables, but they're tables that he's talking about.
yeah, since they took that tree down by the liquor store, it's so hot if you're eating your ice cream on that patio.
yeah.
Everybody goes over to in front of the town hall to be under the trees.
well, River Street would be a good place too, if we had some shade trees in there and some.
Yeah.
picnic tables and-
Yep.
Okay, so that question 9 gets at the
Areas.
you know, people had some feedback on the facilities that we have in town. The bigger question is, what are the spaces in town that people really value? And we have lots of questions that get at that in different ways. We have them listed here. Is this important or not? We have, trying to think. Yeah, what activities do you do? I think that's a separate question. I don't know which one you want. I guess we could do these in order. We already
Yeah, let's go in
covered-
order, Chris. Let's just go in
We'll go in
order.
order. All right. So we said we can get rid of number 4, so that'll be gone because we've got that covered by the list we just saw. Numbers 5 and 6, I thought could probably be deleted because we get at these questions down below. What are the landscapes and views that symbolize the town? What are the places that are important to you? I think we can get at that with the questions below these two.
I agree.
Okay.
So bear that in mind as we go down.
Yep.
So we want to know what do people, what are the places that are important to people? But then, see, the survey sort of is jumbled because it keeps changing topics. And I'd really like to have all the topics together. But so this question I think is important. What are people doing in town? In the different open spaces and this was in red already, developed recreation sites. I'm just curious, was that in the original survey from 2017? It's like somebody wanted to draw attention to that, and I don't know why that was in red. Are we at,
7.
because if we're the open space committee, I guess, wouldn't Parks and Rec be more interested in the developed recreation sites? Like,
Well,
Mine doesn't have that.
what's that?
Mine doesn't have that. Maybe I already deleted it. I don't know.
Oh, okay, yeah, that was in the version that when I opened the Google,
Yep.
the Word document we got by email this week. I just put the Word document.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that, I thought that was in red in that. I don't know where it came from,
So
but it just asks, so what are people doing with open space and developed recreation sites?
I would just say which activities do your family members enjoy? Period.
Oh, just period. We don't care how often they do it? Okay,
Yeah, well,
That was on the original, the first one that went out in 2001.
the how often do they do it?
Yep. I think those numbers are low. It's like, okay, you do this only 10 times a year?
Hey, you walk your dog every day. Well, it says 10 plus.
So maybe we want to edit that.
I don't know. I think the number, I guess to keep it constant with what we've done in the past, probably we should just leave it, but
Well,
The one,
that's
the
what it
one
was in the
change,
past.
the one change I was gonna suggest, I wrote here, is to get rid of the never column.
Yeah,
Because otherwise you feel like you have to check all these boxes for things you don't do. And
Yeah.
just say, if you do an activity, check off, just
Yeah.
checks it. And it could be 10, you see the numbers there, but if we don't have a never column, they don't have to bother checking it. Just leave it blank.
I don't know what the numbers, why we should need to have numbers, because I'm gonna say, well, I think, it's
Well-
like a doctor asks you how often it happens. and
maybe it's like,
a
maybe
lot,
it's
a
like
little,
daily, weekly, monthly, yearly,
Yeah,
right? So,
because it's seasonal too. I mean, these changes
right,
are seasonal.
I'll spell
daily,
it.
monthly, right.
Daily,
Or a couple times a year or something. Yeah, I don't know. I like having just 3 choices instead of 4 because it simplifies it, but
monthly or less.
I don't know,
Right, daily
that to me is more difficult than what you had.
Okay,
oh,
Um,
really?
Often, infrequently,
Yeah, maybe that's
regularly.
better. Often, regularly,
I mean, to me, that's the only thing I do is change the title to say what recreation activities. If you go up a little further, page up,
mhm.
oh, on the wrong computer.
right? Which recreation activities do you and your family members enjoy? And just period. I agree with Lorraine, just put a period after enjoy and call it a day, and then
Yeah.
Ask them what they are. You read that?
right? And then just
But,
check
and
or
the
no
activities
check.
speak for themselves.
as opposed to having totals, of how many times you do it.
Yeah, because you're not playing paintball in the winter, so,
Well, I mean, I would
well, maybe
leave,
you are, but
I would leave never in. I didn't.
well, if they don't check it, it means they never do it.
Right. That's
Right.
why I was trying to just make less work filling out the survey. You don't have to fill
Well,
out any.
well, you don't know if they don't check anything in question 7, they might have just ignored it. You don't know whether they,
Hmm.
they just skip 7.
True.
I think you need to have it there. And you can't just have, you can't have numbers. That implies that everybody uses all these facilities at least once. But that's not the case.
Could it say, do you participate in any of the following activities? And they check it off or not?
Well,
I think he's saying keep the numbers there.
I am saying keep the numbers in, or get rid of them, in which case, if you check it, then you do it. If you don't check it, that means you never do it.
Yeah,
It's like a yes, no thing.
yeah, should be a yes, no thing.
So just have, instead of times per year with 4 columns, just have,
Check, just check it.
1 column. That's right.
How many times a day does that dog bark? Bark once for 10?
So just have people check off the activities they do activities they enjoy.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it's 1 column. It's not a yes, no thing,
Yeah.
because that implies, it's just, which ones do you enjoy?
Okay.
And certainly could, if you set that up like tabs in between, you could certainly shorten up the amount of paper we're using.
Yeah, it could be like 3 columns or 4 columns, and then you
Yep.
just check off. Yep. Okay, that makes sense. That shortens it. It gets us really the same info. What are the things people doing in town? That's really all we care about. All right, that's
Exactly.
7. Now, 8 comes back to the question of what areas do you value? And I have to admit, I played with this one more than the others. I moved things around. It was driving me nuts that the old survey, I need things in boxes. I need things in categories, right? So this first category are sort of natural areas in town. You can see the old numbering system is there, but so this first group are all the categories. And you were saying earlier you would like to strike off Broadhurst Point, correct?
But I would say, why don't you just strike off the location? How's that sound?
What does that mean?
And strike off swimming picnic area as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just Farren, off Farren Road.
What do you think, Cease?
Yep, take it out. And I
You want to
think
say off Farren, just so people at least know?
No,
No,
Okay.
if they know about it, and if they go on Facebook and ask, somebody's gonna tell them.
yep.
Yeah, you don't have to look hard.
And you have the Mid-State Trail, why don't you have the Warpack Trail?
I don't have it because it wasn't there in the survey.
And then there's a trail, there's on the Whitney, off of East Range Road, there's the smaller trail,
Whitney Trail.
Whitney Trail.
What is that?
You haven't been there yet, huh?
It's not very well known, just to people in the neighborhood. It's the old Whitney property at the intersection of, or near the intersection of Tuckerman and East Range Road. Up on the right-hand side, there used to be an old blue house. They took the, DCR bought it, took the house down. It's kind of a short trail, but nice trail around the wetland.
So it does connect up in there, so.
So you want it listed?
Whitney Trail,
Yes, yeah,
sure.
it needs to direct people there.
Can I put just a street? You said Tuckerman,
Well,
It's
I'd
on
say-
East Ridge Road.
but the intersection of those?
No,
Well, not
say East
exactly.
Ridge.
Oh, it's just East Ridge Road. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll get rid of Tuckerman. All right, so. it
And what
gets-
about the Kirby property
Yeah,
I
what
think we
about the
got that.
Kirby property?
and the new land that
Yeah.
NCLT acquired on the South Peak? which
That's
no-
kind of Mount Padic, but
You say Jewel Hill,
Jewel
no
Hill.
on
oh,
there.
that's there. Okay,
Hill.
sorry.
That was already there, interestingly. I think-
Really?
Yeah, that was in the original survey,
Oh,
which is surprising because it wasn't conserved yet.
no.
The
No, but
parts
they
in
could
blue,
hike there. They could still hike there.
that's why. The parts in blue, I did add some street names for some of these, like
What is there?
where the Dunn Forest is, where the Kirby Protection Area is. I added a
It's
suggested.
Wilka Road, not Byfield.
Oh,
yeah, it's you
Wilker.
well, it's Wilker and by Wilker / Byfield.
okay.
Otherwise, if you just put Byfield, it brings you to the other side of
Other
Byfield.
side.
Okay. I actually got that by Googling Kirby Protection, Kirby Conservation Ashburnham, and that's what came up on the computer was Byfield Road. All right,
It's
so
true,
this
it's
first,
on Byfield, but
Can you get there from Byfield? Because I thought you went through that guy's property at the end of the road.
yeah, you can't get there from the other end of
No,
Byfield.
From
But
Byfield,
but
you get there.
but Byfield is technically still a road.
well, if anybody sees this, they're gonna hopefully ask before they.
Yes,
Well, Byfield Road, if you go the other way, when you go up to the top of the hill, if you go to the left, there's trails out there too. That's the property that the Fish and Wildlife preserved.
The Helm property.
Yep, the Helm property.
So this first category, we have a couple dozen almost conservation type areas, right?
Yeah.
And the thing, I think a lot of people are just going to check them all as, yeah, they're all important. And so I was wondering, would it be more useful to say, choose your top 3 or top 5 most important from just this group? Because why wouldn't somebody just say, yeah, they're all important? I mean,
that's true.
we don't learn much. So do you want to say like, just choose your top 5?
Yeah, I think that works.
Chris, just to back up a little, number 1, after Wapak add trail, and number 2, why are these numbers like whacked out?
He deleted some.
The numbers
he-
are whacked
he
out
really-
because I took the original survey and I moved the rows so all the conservation areas were in the same chunk of rows.
Oh, I see.
So in the old survey, these were totally randomly scattered around with the other things down below, like historic district and all this other stuff. I wanted all the conservation and trails type things in one.
Okay,
space.
what I would suggest then is that if you insert a row above Mount Watatic and,
Category.
Oh,
and,
categorize it, yeah.
and
Categorize.
yes, and then in all caps say whatever they are, conservation lands. Okay, and then under the next category, whatever it is,
And we'll edit this later, but it could be something like choose only 5, choose top 5.
there's
or
3.
Choose only 3.
Well,
Okay.
whatever, but I would make them into categories, and
Yep.
then that makes sense. People will say,
Okay, that's good.
okay, I'm done.
Agricultural fields, what does that mean?
I have no idea. So this chunk here were all things that I thought sort of involved human development in some way, you know, instead of just a conservation area. So this is the wording from our survey.
It
Historic
would be like
district.
cultural landscapes or cultural,
Ooh,
Yeah, good.
He likes that word.
I like that.
Cultural,
Good phrase.
yeah, well,
features or
Cultural
something.
resources.
Cultural resources.
cultural
Features.
resources would be better. But well, since you're not supposed to be on the Upper Naukee Reservoir,
It shouldn't be.
Well, okay, that was my comment.
Right.
That was in the original survey back when you probably could put a boat on
Could
and
put a
row your
boat
boat
there.
around, right?
I would delete it.
I would delete, yeah. It's nice that people treasure it as a thing we can view, but I don't think we would draw attention to it.
And I agree. I don't know what agricultural fields means.
Well, I think it's getting at an earlier question that said, you know, what are the things important to the character of Ashburnham? What do you value?
Yeah.
See,
Okay,
think
but
it's like-
but you can't access them. The town doesn't have any municipally owned agricultural fields. So I would get rid of that.
Well, so it's true, you can't access it, but in terms of the landscape and, you know, preserving the character of the town, you know, I don't know if you scroll up, does that,
Scroll up to the title again.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is.
It just
well, it says
says
scenic.
recreation or
Well, it's
scenic properties.
Well, if they're for recreation, it shouldn't be there.
Right,
It
it
says or
says
scenic.
recreation or scenic.
And I did say, because we
No,
had. a
but it
question
says
earlier-
for recreation then.
But then it says or scenic.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
how about that just
if you-
make it part of another question, like six.
just put a period, after 2U and get rid of the rest.
Oh, for recreation, I got it. So,
Get rid of
and,
that.
and or Ashburnham's unique characters.
So
Important to you for, well, to you,
Or,
I think I had added this part in blue about Ashburnham's unique character because we had a
Right.
separate question earlier saying, what are the sites in town that are important to you for Ashburnham's unique character? And I thought if we just kind of put it here, they can just check it off.
I
Okay,
think
well,
what Anna
I-
said sounds like makes
you know,
sense.
you can wordsmith that, but just get rid of the for recreation.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
And just leave it as to you. What are the scenic properties and recreational facilities that are important to you? And just get rid of everything else.
I would. And then give them categories. You've already listed
cultural
cultural
and scenic
scenic resources. You know, I would put those in bold, for example, and then have, you know, others underneath, and then you can make them change all the numbers to numerical in
Yeah.
order.
Yeah, we'll fix the numbers or.
Yeah. And then, but agricultural fields, you know,
That's scenic.
yeah,
It is
exactly.
scenic.
No, in that case, in that context, now that we change it, I would say leave it.
Do we want to, what is Powder Hill? Is that the little powder house on Cushing Street?
Yes,
Yep.
yes.
Which you can't see because it's in somebody's backyard.
No one's
But
gonna
it's
know.
somebody's, yeah, it's privately owned, right?
Yeah, it is. That was the house I looked at. when we were trying to-
Powder House, not Powder Hill.
But you can still drive by it and look at it and say, oh, isn't that wonderful?
Yep.
How about the town pound? There's some great
compound.
rock.
That's Meeting House Hill
structures.
though, isn't it?
Yeah, that's Meeting House Hill.
Yeah, but you can go up there and not know the pound is there,
So we could put / town pound.
town pound.
Chris,
Have you gone in there, anyone?
you add
Yep,
for agricultural fields, can you just put /farms? Because,
Hmm.
you know, not all, I don't know, I'm just thinking.
Yeah,
of,
something like J&K Good Times Farm is not an agricultural field, but it's a little
Right.
farm.
In the Marbles property.
Yeah.
That sort of
Okay.
thing.
Hey, can you go up again?
Say what?
Nothing. All right, I got it.
Wampanoag, but can we talk about Wampanoag? I think you had a question about Wampanoag,
Where,
because that's a place that people can go canoeing and swimming that most
Right.
people don't know about.
oh, it should be listed under conservation lands here.
It is, but
It
you had
is,
it in
yeah,
yellow.
Right there.
Oh, I think it's because earlier it was, because when it was all mixed as sort of cultural and things, yeah, I'll just delete my comment, because now it makes sense as a conservation area, yeah. Or maybe what I was thinking is, like, there are trails behind Lake Wampanoag if you go out on the old railroad tracks. Or do we mean canoeing on Lake Wampanoag? Do we mean the Audubon property? I guess maybe just, you know what, just leave it. It's
Well,
fine.
Leave it.
and then
Fish-
you're in
fishery-
Gardner,
Fish and Wildlife just bought a bunch of land out there.
Yeah.
They bought
just
the
leave
old
it as a
Collier
plot.
Camp,
they brought Camp Collier.
Collier.
All right, what are we calling the last category?
Gonna get rid of.
Municipal,
Parks and Rec.
municipal facilities or something?
Sound good?
Yeah,
Yeah.
for now, just put it as a placeholder, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll get that later.
Yeah,
I'm on two computers trying to type in all caps.
I hear you.
Municipal facilities. All right, now I added some of the street addresses because some of these, so Sweeney Playground is on South Ash. I deleted Whitney Field because I can't, I'm not sure why. I'm trying to think, what is Whitney Field?
Don't know.
Okay. We'll leave
Was it
be.
Whitney Pond?
The old survey had Whitney Field as a thing,
Oh,
and
I don't
none
know.
of us know what it is, so I'm glad.
Isn't that the one that's on Williams? That's the one that's on Williams Road, isn't it? The
Okay,
soccer
well,
field?
that should be called Landry Fields.
Is that what it is? Okay.
Landry
Yeah,
Field.
Landry, that's probably, yeah, okay.
Is Whitney Field on, in South Ash, down by where the, senior center, the senior housing is?
You know, you raise
I
a
can find
good
in the old
point.
plan.
I don't know what it's called, but that's the ball field on School Street, so
Yeah, the ball
That's the
field
one.
on School Street. I think that's what it is.
that's Whitney Field?
I think so.
Oops. All right, let's see if I can- I'll deal with the strikeout later, but that's let's say ball field on School Street. I'll just edit that later. Try to remember how to strike that out. Control X. All right, I'll fix that later. All right.
I've got it here. Two things before I forget. I'm looking at the plan itself, the hard copy. Bluefield, we have a map here, an aerial of Bluefield Reservation up on Young Road. And there used to be a little trail in there.
Yeah, but there isn't much anymore.
No, but it's still there and it's still available for you to put your kayak in and
Yeah.
I would add that to conservation lands.
Okay.
And of course, it's across from the land trust piece too, which is also, that should be in there.
What do you want to call it? Bluefield?
Well, it's
Reservation.
called,
Conservation area?
it's called the Bluefield Reservation. There's town-owned land. That actually, I think, refers to the land between what the land trust owns on Young Road and Mary, like Hewitt Road there and the Dunn property. That's where it technically is. But then there's the big wetland across the street that is probably, I think it has a different designation. I'll send a map out and I'll show it to you. There are two town-owned properties.
Yeah.
Starting on Dunn Road, it's the the Dunn Forest. It's some town land called the Bluefield Reservation. It's all landlocked. There's the Ashburnham Conservation Trust land. Then you get to Young Road, and on the other side of that is that other big wetland that belongs to the town.
I would say Young Road, if you're gonna put an address for it.
Okay.
And
And I put area implying that it's kind of a complex of
It's a hodgepodge of properties there, yeah.
What I'll do is I might actually sort these by sort of geography, maybe going south to north or something.
Yeah.
Because otherwise your mind is jumping all over with this list. Okay.
And I'm looking at a picture of the Whitney Field. It occurs to me that these maps should have a locus map on them so people know where they are. But this is a baseball field someplace.
Yep.
I can't tell because there's no locus map.
So that could be the
Oh,
one.
19 School Street, 19 School Street.
Oh, there you go. That is Whitney Field then. Yeah, School Street.
Yeah.
Okay, we were right.
Yay for me.
I deleted it said Marsden Field, but I think, isn't it Marden Field?
Martin Field, correct.
Either way, that's with Bickford. I mean, nobody uses only one. They're together. So that's on Puffer Street now. So just add the word
you know,
Marden. Got it to one
not
row.
to be picky, but if you have Whitney Field and then Bickford Field, why do you have to say Ball Field for Whitney Field? Why don't you just list the street?
School Street. Yep.
And then why is the Cushing Academy rink listed?
It was in the survey. That's
No,
not a
it's-
municipal property. It just,
It's not a municipal property.
yeah, should we delete it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, just because they allow public skating once in a blue moon, you know,
So these others in blue are things I added that were not in our original survey. Winchester Park at the library, Landry Fields on Williams.
I
Um,
don't think they're available to the public.
What is it?
Landry Fields.
Yep.
Did
Well,
it?
Yeah. No, I
Yeah,
walk my dog out there. I don't walk inside the baseball diamond, but I've walked my dog down there.
Well,
So
the soccer
they're not,
fields.
so, you know, a bunch of guys can't go out there like I used to do in my youth but not here, and say, hey, let's play ball on the diamond. I don't think you can do that.
Well, it can't.
find out.
It's locked.
But it's locked, but the public is using them with the soccer leagues.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right, but
Yeah, but
you can't go there right now and use it.
that's right. And same thing with Briggs. You can't go on there and just, you know,
True.
Yep.
Well,
you can go
actually with
to
Briggs, you can. The public uses Briggs as a playground. They just go on weekends and.
Really?
Right, you can't go during the week when there's school.
and you can't go to Oakmont High School track either.
Actually,
go there.
but wait a minute, but the public does. Actually, we all went all through COVID and we met these elderly people who were walking each morning. Like the public are using these spaces. That's
Hmm.
so.
When they're in school, they're not gonna be able to.
But does that matter to us? These are spaces that the public is using.
I don't think it matters.
I think it does. I agree with Cece. I don't think, I mean, these should be places that you can go to anytime, whatever. I mean, yes, Briggs and Oakmont, they're municipal facilities, but they're not really recreation facilities.
No, they're not open to the public.
So, so this brings up an issue of that delineation between Parks and Rec and municipal opportunities and just the general open space and recreational opportunities. And why we have a rift here that we need to span in order to I think we could offer more to the public if we can coordinate with the municipality. Right now, we're just a bunch of tree huggers that people kind of laugh at sometimes, and we don't really have we're not Parks and Rec, and people don't view us like Parks and Rec.
Well,
And yet,
so if we're trying so let's think about what data we want to collect. If this is what is important to the people that are answering the survey, could we have another category that says, municipal limited access facilities or school facilities, limited, parentheses, limited access, and then list them or something. because if we're, if the data that we're trying to collect is what people are using.
I don't know. I think
I
that
don't know how
the school facilities are school facilities. They're not recreation facilities. And the fields, the DPW, whoever maintains the ball fields because they're municipal, they don't want a bunch of duffers going in there playing softball, wreaking havoc with the baselines and the grass.
But I don't
It's
think
not
that,
open to the public.
yeah, but what we're hearing from Chris is that the public is using these facilities. So if we're trying to collect what people are using, right, what's important to them, if we put another category that says school facilities, and people are saying, yeah, that's super important to me, yes, I use those facilities, then maybe the data point to the town is, we need public facilities that they can use that's not the school
Right, I
facilities.
agree. And it's like swimming. We have swimming down here. Most of the people are swimming in their own lakes. Doesn't mean that everybody's using those lakes. It's just a subset of residents that are able to swim, but we have it here. We have boating. It's all the
I
same
don't know.
thing.
To me, it's misleading and biased to put school facilities, Landry Fields, because they have designated other uses. They're not generically open to the public.
I agree with you. I agree that they're not generically open to the public, but what I think, Captain, no, the peanut gallery is trying to wage it.
See, agrees with me.
Yeah. But I agree with you that
No,
they're not
I
public.
know.
And this
I
is
know.
part of the
I-
master
But
plan.
I'm just wondering, what are we trying to get at with this information? Because
Why
the
don't
data
you,
that we
why
collect-
don't you make a category that just says other municipal facilities? And then list the schools and Landry Fields. And I would bring down Bickford, Marden Fields. And I don't know, whatever Whitney Field is. In other words, municipal recreation facilities is the Sweeney Playground. It is Winchester Park. It is the Town Hall Common, but it is not Bickford Marden Field.
Right. And maybe it's municipal rec, and then it's municipal other.
Well, that's what I said, other municipal facilities.
Right.
And-
And so change municipal facilities to municipal recreation facilities.
I agreed, yeah.
Right.
So change that, and then down below, say other municipal facilities. And therefore, we're not calling them recreation facilities, but they are facilities that the public uses.
Yeah, and you're right, and put Town Hall and Winchester Park down there.
Yeah, right.
I never really thought of it, but this is referred to as a chapter in the master plan. So as such, I think it's important, as Hannah's
Yeah.
saying, to collect
we-
data points for the town.
Should we add, under other municipal facilities, the, River Street Park? Or the old Bresnahan?
But it doesn't really get used
No.
right now.
No, I know.
No, but
Nobody's gonna list it, right?
if you're gonna list it, I would list it up above. Because you can't define it in the same context as the Briggs Elementary School playground. I mean, it's a piece of open space. Hey, if you want to go there, go there.
Gateway
I don't
Park.
know if I wanna go there. I mean, I do go there. It's lovely.
Geez. So you're gonna move Whitney and Bickford down?
Well, no, then what, why are we,
No, but aren't they Whitney and Bickford, aren't they ball fields?
Aren't they what?
Ball fields?
Whitney is.
Yeah, but they're not municipal. They're not public facilities per se.
Well, but you can play on the ball fields there anytime, so there's not a game.
You can?
Yeah.
I don't think so. Or you shouldn't be.
Please.
Well, you shouldn't be
They're not
ATV. You shouldn't
They're
be
not
in
designated.
ATV either, and there's ATV and cross
They're
track.
not designated for public use. They're designated for Little League or whatever it is.
I didn't think they had a sign that says don't, it just says no dogs, but if you,
It's, SG says stay off of the diamond, off the playing area.
Yeah, I think I think it's wrong. But, hey,
Like I said, I walk my dog down there, but they do have signs to stay off the ball fields.
right, and that's because they don't want everybody out there ruining it that they're gonna have to fix.
Right. So,
confused what
but
we're.
what we want to capture is who, like,
Doing what?
are there a lot of people in the rec leagues using those games? And that's what's important to
That's,
them.
and that's exactly why it should be under other municipal facilities. It should, just like Broadhurst Point, it shouldn't be advertised as a swimming area. All right? And the same thing holds true with this. It shouldn't be advertised as a public recreational facility because it's not.
Not,
So how about,
I think as long as it's there in some form, we're good. We'll collect the data and we can massage that.
So the town hall
Category.
common needs to go back up. And I would just say town hall common. I wouldn't say area and lawn. Just town hall common.
I only use this wording because that's what that's what our DPW website says as the areas that they manage. They actually they list these sites and they say town hall, common area and lawn.
Well,
Common area, okay. So you want that one. So I was thinking, because right now we're down to we have 2 playgrounds here. So we could just call them municipal playgrounds. But
Yeah.
unless we
No, if we could put the town hall back up there. Yeah.
put town hall up above.
I would leave it at recreation.
It's not really a
How about-
recreation area. it's
how
just
how
like-
about municipal public area?
If it's municipal, it's public.
Municipal parks.
Municipal
Fine.
parks.
Fine.
I like that.
And then other municipal, that's fine.
Okay.
Well, but that just, how do you define parks? Because you could define Bush Hill as a park.
No,
No.
Well, we
no.
got it as a
No.
conservation.
It's a
area.
different, like,
No.
All you have to do is look at the 3 things that are listed and you'll know what a park is.
There we go. All right. Now on this one, we kind of want to know, again, we don't want somebody just checking off everything's important. So do we say choose 3 from the municipal section?
there's only 3. Yeah.
Why don't you
I mean,
just,
the whole
no,
list
why,
here.
yeah, right at the top, why don't you just say pick 5 from the following categories?
Ah. We okay with that?
Perfect. Oh, I
Not-
like
not-
that, Marshall.
Not 3 from,
Yep.
Yeah, from each.
You get
Yeah.
5 total. Okay.
that's right.
You only get 5, folks.
Oh,
The committee
right.
has spoken.
that's gonna be tough.
All right, we'll edit, we'll make it
Well,
pretty.
yeah, you can think about it, but I
Yeah.
think that's
In
whether
fact,
it's-
that's nice because we can get rid of all of this.
right.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm exhausted.
Well, you'll need one for
This is good
I
work.
don't think
Well,
we're
this is
done
the
yet.
easiest thing you have to
But
debate.
what's beautiful about this is as a survey, if you're filling out a survey, what's nice is it's consistent. You just did, what are the conservation areas you like? Check, check, check. What are the town facilities we like? Check, check. It's the same kind
Yeah,
of.
yeah.
You don't like to make your survey taker change their approach all of a sudden.
Right.
How about the
Alright.
meeting house itself under cultural? They open up on Saturdays and the one on Main Street.
Oh,
Oh,
what
yeah,
about-
yeah, yeah.
oh,
Historical Society.
That's, yeah,
Yeah.
that's, which is in your meeting house.
All right, I'll add that and make it pretty. Okay. historical
Okay, got
society.
it. Yeah, good point.
All right, what else we got here? Now, here we're asking people to rate the facilities in town as either sufficient or insufficient.
So if they're insufficient, then there's a need, so can you,
Yeah, I don't know why we have two columns under,
Well,
you don't need.
well, insufficient could be like they're there, but they're not great.
Mhm, mhm,
Yeah,
mhm.
They're
which
there,
means
but they
you need
don't
it.
work
So
for
you
me.
could just say either it's sufficient or not.
Yeah, I would agree. I think the column's appropriate.
oh, leave them as is, okay.
Yeah,
It'd be
yeah.
great to have some public tennis courts.
All right, so I'm gonna delete my comment then.
That's an aside. Don't listen to me.
Do we have tennis courts there?
No, there's no municipal tennis courts.
And using
Well-
Cushing's.
What's a 21?
There is actually, so at the high school, you can go and use those tennis courts as long as no one's there. So, and we do all the time.
Good. That's good to
But you
know.
can't go during school hours.
Right.
We do, so it does say
There's
tennis courts.
courts on there.
So they would be insufficient and we would need more.
Insufficient tennis
So we'll
courts.
make this public tennis courts.
I wouldn't, you know what? I'm just fooling myself. I wouldn't get myself to go even if they were.
Chris, is there a way that, you've got 25 or so things here. Is there a way that, like we just did in the previous table, we could create some categories? I don't want to do it
Yeah.
now.
Oh. Yeah, I'll play, if you want, I'll play with it and then I'll send you the link to this Google Doc again and
Yeah,
then.
I think so. I mean, it's kind of all over the map at the moment. I think if you, like there's trails and woods, and there's picnic areas, gardens, I think there's
Right.
a
Maybe
way
we-
of lumping those, some of these common sources together.
Yeah.
Could be like active, passive, and
Those
cultural.
could be the two major categories, and under that you'll have some other, all I'm saying is that
Too
maybe
many.
there's a more logical presentation.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, yeah, this is how our old survey was, so.
Okay.
I agree.
Yeah, well,
This is
I'm gonna,
yeah, because the list is just too big. All right, and we agreed to leave it as 3 columns, right?
I personally, I agree. I mean, as Anna says, we may have it, but they're not great.
Can we just make this needed?
Yeah.
So it's parallel now. So there are 3 adjectives. I don't like 2 adjectives and a verb. It just. Okay,
English teacher husband would agree with you.
good. And we said earlier, yeah, if we just list ADA accessible trails, that gets rid of that question
yeah,
earlier.
yeah,
Or
yeah.
activities? Are there other things that we can provide handicapped people with other than trails
Or we could just say, how about activities,
activities?
Or
facilities?
options. How about ADA accessible options? For all of these things, right? I
All of
mean,
these.
I don't, you know.
Yeah. And then there will be, at the end, there will be this other, and they can elaborate on that.
What'd you say, Cece?
I say good luck with that because you can't even get handicap accessible doors at the public buildings.
High five, Cease.
I had a couple questions. The survey says neighborhood parks, but it seems to me that's so generic. Can we just strike it? Because what do we mean by a park? We could mean picnic areas, we could mean playgrounds, like we already have all those categories here.
Yeah, get rid of it.
Well, yeah, what is that getting to like,
But it's getting to
where
the
things
two,
are located? I mean,
I
I
don't
think
know.
it's getting to the two things that we listed in the previous table, which is
Yeah.
Winchester and Sweeney.
right.
Or splash park?
Right, I guess the question, so is that something that, like, I think that's probably, in terms of where things are located in town, is it adequate?
No.
Or do we want, or do the citizens of the town want things spread out more?
A park they can walk
Like
to. versus
neighborhood
having
parks,
to
like
walk.
let's put a park over by where I live.
Okay,
Nothing over here.
no.
No,
that-
no, I'm just wondering what, like, the intent of why it was there originally. Right.
That's a good point. I mean, because, just because we have two things, one in South Ash and one downtown, you know, there are a lot of other neighborhoods in town.
Okay,
Like up by Lincoln
And-
Ave, they could use something out
And
there.
I would just leave it as generic neighborhood and people will say, geez, you know, we could use one up at Sunset Lake,
Right,
you know, or whatever.
right.
Dog walking areas,
And the town has land up there, so maybe they could do a neighborhood park up there.
Yeah.
Right.
So I agree.
do we want to say
Take it all-
neighborhood
I
parks?
take it
near
all
you?
back.
Should we say near you to imply like, in other words, a lot of
Neighborhood.
people
No, I would just leave it.
leave it, all right.
I think it's
And
pretty
then, do
self-explanatory.
we want to ask about skiing, sledding facilities? Like, I guess we want to know if people want more, but it just seems sort of,
Yeah, just leave it. I mean, what the hell?
aren't playgrounds and neighborhood parks the same thing though? So we say
No.
neighborhood parks and playgrounds?
Well, I think that our maybe you could put existing playgrounds.
Well, you could put
Sufficient,
neighborhood
insufficient.
parks / playgrounds
That's what I mean, yeah, that's what I mean.
so we could
and then
combine
get
these.
rid of a
Get
number.
a line, yep. And then dog walking areas, I just walk out my door and it's a dog walking area. And I think anybody
Well,
in
I
town can
think-
say that.
Does that mean like dog exercise
Parks?
areas, like the dog park issue
Yeah,
that always
maybe
comes
dog
up when we
parks.
talk
Yeah,
about
put dog
Winchester Park?
parks. Yeah,
Dog
Yeah.
park.
Which aren't a good idea, but
I would say dog exercise area. I don't know, or slash dog park.
Just for
I
dogs
don't
to
know.
get in
Dog
the
park's fine. I'm not gonna wordsmith.
cute trails.
I'm trying to think, did we see this list before? Public swimming access. I added that. I'm trying to think, didn't we already talk about that one?
we did.
Yeah, we
It
did.
was-
Top.
And
Oh.
the original list had swimming pool.
That's right, which we got to delete it.
We had public swimming pools. And then public swimming, I was. When you say the original lists. Oh, you mean you would combine them into one row?
No, I was saying that when we were talking about that, you were asking about, didn't we talk about this already? And I said, yes.
Oh,
And
is this redundant? Is this whole thing redundant?
I'm gonna go up and look at, I think
Well,
we asked the question of what do you do for fun, right?
Okay, but a public swimming pool is never going to happen.
Right.
Splash
So-
park is possible.
I would get rid of it. It's never going to happen.
Public swimming pool.
yeah,
And a public gymnasium is never going to happen.
I wouldn't say that's necessarily.
I
I would.
You never know if a donor comes to town and they just want.
Well,
We
they're
have a
not-
lot of things that are donated in town that,
Well, if they donate something, it's not going to be a gymnasium.
Wait, but again, it's
just
kind
don't
of,
know that.
this is like the question we had earlier about a public swimming area. It probably won't happen, but we want to see, are people really,
Okay, but well, I think the public swimming area has a greater deal,
Yeah.
a greater likelihood of happening than a gymnasium.
I don't mind deleting it. Then
I'm good with it.
you're good with deleting it or?
Yep.
Okay.
Maybe the YWCA will come to town someday. and-
Now, the trouble is the public swimming, whatever, or gymnasium is a liability. Public tennis courts are not so much of a liability to the town.
And we're the open space committee and a gym is by definition not open, so we're.
This is
we can
good.
delete it.
we're
There
the
you go.
open space and recreation
Recreation.
guys. You have to remember that there is an R, it's an OSR.
That's
Yeah,
Well, as Rosemary,
as
you know,
drilled in.
wants to say all the time, it's not just an open space.
Right.
Okay,
So does that make it go in or out? I mean,
what, golf courses?
No, the
No.
gymnasium
gymnasium
I would get rid
and the
of it.
swimming pool.
and the swimming
And
pool.
swimming pools should go. I mean,
There is an other line. They can put in gymnasium and.
they can, yeah, they can do
yeah.
a write-in ballot.
I think I deleted.
Right
swimming
in
pool.
ballot.
Okay.
Yep.
So this tells us, and then we agree they're gonna, we left categories for what was needed.
Yep.
or what's sufficient, okay.
Is there a way we combine 7 and 9? It seems like it's a bit redundant. Can we have a column in
so
7
nine
that's just,
nine is, what are the facilities we have? What was 7? The activities you do? Yeah, what do you do?
No, I would leave it.
9 is,
I mean, maybe getting at the same thing, but it's coming from two different
It's a
directions.
different way, yeah.
Maybe we can put them right next
Next
to each other though. Yeah.
Yep, that'll help.
Just renumber them, yeah.
All right, question 10, I would say we could get rid of, because we had a question earlier that says rank, what are your top 5 that are important to you, right?
Yeah,
the
Yeah,
thing I
I
like
mean,
though
we're
is
gonna
the
lose-
shade trees, because we have an assault on shade trees. So I'd like to not lose that. Somehow incorporate it someplace else.
unless you want to put it under scenic roads or scenic resources.
Could we put shade, put shade
Or
trees up?
It's
above
even more
where
than
we
that.
have
It's
cultural and
climate.
Scenic resources.
Well,
How about
go
we add a
back,
row for shade trees?
go back down again to what we were just talking about. Keep
How
going,
important?
keep going. Number
Oh,
11.
well, we were just talking about this one.
How important is it to you to preserve existing and additional lands?
We don't have a tree warden anymore, do we? Now that Steve
Well,
is
I'm
gone?
sure that
Who's-
Randy's now the
Randy.
tree warden.
Probably Randy.
Yeah,
Randy.
Yeah, I mean, I think the torch got passed
yeah.
by default.
I don't know if
Can
that
we-
should be
can-
removed, Chris. I like 10.
So can we change the wording on number 10 to say, how important is it to you to steward existing and preserve additional? Because I
They won't-
think,
Will they know what that means?
Well, I would get rid of to you. Obviously, you're
Right.
filling in the blank. It is you that's
Yep.
doing it.
yes,
No, I would get rid of
No.
that. No one's gonna
yeah,
know.
how important is it to
How important are the following things?
maintain? How about maintain existing?
They don't maintain additional.
No, maintain existing and preserve additional.
Okay. That's fine.
I think it's important for folks to remember that there is a responsibility, we have responsibility to the land even
Yeah.
after we protect it.
I agree.
I think it's important that they understand that we're at the head of 3 major watersheds and our responsibility is paramount to the protection of resources for many thousands, hundreds of
Hundreds of
thousands
thousands
other
of
people.
people. Yeah.
They're not gonna get that from this question, though.
No, they're not. I just wanted to throw that in there. Is there,
It's just, yeah.
could we have a little section, did you know that? Just have some interesting questions and just in stating it, asking them, they'll learn that there are certain things that are, when we start talking about CPA.
Yeah, I don't know. That's
It could
a
just be another
different,
mission of mine.
we're gonna table that. Great thought, table it.
So anyway, what we're looking at here is the shade tree thing, right?
Yeah.
We've
So
talked about agricultural scenic properties, land, or riverfront parks and viewing areas. This is the first time it's come up. We talked about parks, but not riverfront parks.
Yeah,
But I think. we've covered everything else.
Riverfront parks, wow.
what I do like about when you're thinking about riverfront parks and shade trees, like, how can we make this question tell us something that the other question didn't tell us? And so I think we want to think hard about that. That's good. I mean, if somebody
is
values
act-
agricultural
this-
lands, they probably already said that, but
I think this is a lead in to question 12.
Right.
I think this is building them up to answer question 12 and 13.
yeah.
or 12.
I'm just wondering if, can we change some of the wording? Like some of these, like, I'm actually not even, what's the difference between active and passive recreation?
One, you view it, the other one, you shoot it.
Like if I'm jogging. Is
I'm
that,
sorry, that's passive.
That's
That's
passive.
passive.
I get rid of 6.
Baseball is-
I guess, if we want to
Active-
ask these, we need
so
to understand the words.
Yeah, so active recreation usually
Sports?
means that you bring a like,
ATV.
well, no,
Yes,
bring something to
Yes.
facilitate, your activity. Mountain biking is active.
yeah,
Okay.
hunting is active.
Hunting
Fishing
is
is,
active.
I have a problem with hunting being a.
Actually,
passive
hunting
recreation.
is considered passive recreation
It
by the
is.
state.
It
I'm
is,
sorry,
and
but
how
hunting
is
is active
killing-
recreation.
How can killing be passive? It's not passive.
I wouldn't bother. People know what active and passive, I wouldn't bother with that.
Well, but even we were just debating whether hunting is active or passive, so I guess why,
Well, leave it to their imaginations.
all right.
Yeah, and I guess, yeah.
You just
Do we
say
really
lands for
need,
recreation then?
do we really need all these categories?
Yeah, I'd like to reduce them.
I mean, I mean, the question,
Agriculture.
without listing anything, isn't, can't you leave that to their imagination too?
So what,
So you'd like to
Why
get
do
rid
we-
of 10 altogether?
I would, yeah,
Yeah.
and just say yes, and very, somewhat, not. Period. And get rid of everything.
Get rid of it.
I suppose just, in other words, leave 10 there, but just leave it as a very important, somewhat or not.
That's right.
yeah,
I'd be okay with that.
right.
I mean,
Because,
because if I tried hard, I could probably think of, 12 more categories.
right, right. Do we want to list all of the benefits of that conservation land does to us?
Yeah, I mean,
How about climate change mitigation and?
Yep.
oh, please, I just got through with that.
So,
I know.
I
So
know,
what
but
is-
it's
need
important,
to
even
bring
though
that up.
Par didn't do a good job of it.
In another section, we need to deal with that. Maybe
I
not.
would get rid of it and just say, and then, in the open space and recreation plan, you can say, well, we had this survey and everybody said that, this was very important.
but what's it? I'm confused. What's going to be in the category, the numbered categories?
Nothing.
Nothing, but I think it'd be a good idea to move some of these sections like scenic properties, conservation for wildlife habitat, some of those sections go into the number 10 description.
Into what?
So what,
How important is
Garrett-
it to maintain existing and preserve additional lands for
I would just, I wouldn't,
agricultural, scenic, and habitat
Yeah.
protection?
you can't have it both ways.
I'm
Either
totally-
you have a list or you have a description, or you delete them all. I know I'm being edgy. But
Okay, you can be it. We'll let you. You deserve it.
Well, you do.
I
but-
deserve something, but I'm not sure. Um,
oh, I could see it both ways. I
banishment to
think,
Siberia, what,
Moving away is your only answer.
so
I
here,
just think it's going to be a whole lot simpler and simpler to quantify and tabulate if you just get rid of all this stuff. And rather have, for example, and then list 10 things. That defeats the purpose. I think you just need to get rid of it and just have the
What is
latter,
important to you?
the latter 3 columns.
well, okay, so
What would be on the other side? I'm confused.
no. So what they're saying is that the question of number 10 would
Yeah.
be just number 1.
Yeah.
On the list, okay? But here's another thought. The original intent was, I think, trying to discern if the folks were interested in open space for agriculture, for wildlife, or for recreation, or for cultural.
Versus parks
No, no, no.
and playgrounds.
No. So recreation would be parks. Agricultural, wildlife and passive recreation, parks and active recreation, or cultural. I think that was the original intent of that question, right? Because it just says maintain and preserve additional lands for open spaces. It's very general.
Right.
And it comes into the different categories of types of open spaces. But so I think
Which we don't need to detail.
the original intent of the question was to say, do you want it for agriculture? Like
Yeah.
what's, all of those major categories of different kinds of open spaces.
So basically, it's the question, a well-phrased question without itemization. And then whether or not they think it's very important, somewhat important, or not important at all,
Well, what you're doing, if you just
which is
if you
fine.
just rate number 10 as the question of very, somewhat, or not, you're asking them whether they think all categories of open space are very, somewhat, or not important. And you lose which
The focus.
chunk
Yeah.
of open space they're actually interested in.
So Anna, if I understand you, you're saying replace these 10 rows with the categories. And so it would be category 1. How important is it to you that agriculture is preserved as, and then separately, how important, so replace the 10 rows with about 3 or 4 rows of categories. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that I think that is the original intent of the question. And if you get rid of those categories, then you remove the original intent of the question. And
So
do
we
we want to
could-
do that is my question to this group.
I
I
think
like
it's
the
a good
idea of-
compromise.
I like the idea of categorizing them. So in other words, are you interested in open space for agriculture? Is it very, somewhat, or not important? Interested in wildlife conservation and passive recreation? I don't know if this wording is good, parks and active recreation, but I do think we need to tell people what we mean by active recreation.
I think, sports, hunting / fishing. And,
Do we
and
mean
then,
motorized?
what?
Do we mean motorized, like ATVs?
It doesn't
No.
matter.
It does,
And then after, I would,
Cultural,
after,
historical.
I was gonna say, I would make that number 2 is cultural, historical, cultural, historical.
And I would
Yeah, I
add
don't
one
blame you.
more.
Yeah, it's,
I would add,
resources after historical, cultural,
I have
maybe
one more category.
and then agricultural resources I would put.
Yep.
I
I still have one more category I think we need,
what is it?
like either environmental services, ecological services, example, shade trees, mitigating climate change. I mean, they may not know what those words mean, but
I would make that number 3.
well, I see them as different. We're conserving wildlife is nice. We want to protect.
Oh, no,
turtles.
I mean, I keep number 3, but I would not
I don't think it
renumber
matters
that, thank
what
you.
order, I don't think that order matters, as long as it's in there.
Ecological services,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little more selfish than wildlife preservation.
no, well, it's more biological.
Yeah. For example, shade trees,
Water quality,
water quality. There we go. We could leave climate change out of it, or we'll throw it in. Mitigate
somewhere, we
climate,
need to throw it in somewhere.
climate
You
change.
say climate change mitigation, yeah. So I would,
Better. That is better.
Yeah. Okay, I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Then
So
just
we
have
replace-
five,
Yeah,
just
we
have
have five
five-
categories and for each one, very somewhat or not important.
yeah, no, I'm good with that.
Cool.
Anna, good suggestion. Yeah, very good.
Thanks, Anna.
We
So
got
that leaves us
Yay.
with, it
Yeah,
says
we're
the
almost done.
location of one parcel you think is
Yeah.
important, but we've got that covered. I think we can delete that, right?
I do, yeah.
Then we're left with Community Preservation Act.
I want that there.
Can you go into the Google Doc and then just add a sentence? Because a lot of people just aren't gonna know.
They have no clue what that is.
Yeah.
I'm not sure it can be done in one sentence.
Oh,
Um,
We can think about it.
You
Yeah.
know what you
Yeah.
can
Yeah,
do
let's
is
think about
you could insert a website link. Maybe.
Start educating
The
them.
CPA Act.
No.
yeah.
According
Yeah.
to the previous plan, and I can't remember exactly where it was, the majority of the respondents were in favor of the Community Preservation Act. And we could say that somewhere.
It
Yeah.
never would pass the
previous-
town meeting, but
A previous survey of
Well, or
The populace indicated-
for the purpose of receiving state matching funds for,
yeah, chalk it up.
So, okay. Let me.
in other
let me
words,
advocate for a second. Is
Plug.
that why are we asking this question?
we want to find out how many of our responders would consider actually adding some tax to their
Yeah.
bill to protect or to develop housing or for historic preservation or open space.
well,
I mean, it's
should
CPA.
be
It
part
says
of
we
our
try to get the
plan.
CPA in town is what it's.
Right. So, I hear that, and I know that this is a survey that's going out to the town, which would be a one data point spot for us. I think the campaign for the CPA needs to be a united front with many different constituent groups, including, and I'm wondering if it comes from the Open Space and Recreation Committee, and there are people who are discounting or think we're just tree huggers or whatever. If that's going to actually end up disserving our purpose.
I don't,
I don't, and I'm just posing this as a thought experiment question. I'm not
Right.
necessarily advocating,
Well,
but
that's a good point because, you know, as you say, it's an open space and recreation survey, but yet the Community Preservation Act is really multi-pronged.
so much more. It's so much more than
Yeah.
just.
And also the wording here, how much of an annual real estate surcharge? I don't think that's correct. It's not an annual real estate surcharge. It's
It's
surcharge
it's
on
a
the sale of
that's-
properties.
that
transaction.
should go. Yeah,
The
so that-
transaction.
It has nothing to do with your taxes.
Yeah,
No, that does.
I thought it did.
The surcharge is off real estate taxes. Yeah, it's a tax on real estate. Okay,
but
but
it's,
it also has to have a match from the town. So we've got to ask these landowners or homeowners how much they'd be willing to put in.
No, wait a minute. No, wait. Maybe this needs a little more research, but again,
It does,
I
it does.
thought it had to do with the sale of real estate, had nothing to do with taxes.
That's a state match. The state match is from the sale of real estate.
That's right.
Okay, but to qualify for that state match, you have to increase your real estate taxes by a percentage to get that match.
I'm not sure that's true, but I'll take your word for it.
We'll figure that out.
But
and-
I agree with Anna that, you know, it's
I don't
kind of
know.
a biased, but it's a biased question and, you know, this may not be the place for it.
Here's another thought is if the survey results come back saying here's a piece that we really want to protect, or yes, overwhelmingly, we want to support cultural and historical and scenic and the values of the town.
Mhm.
And we say, well, how are we going to do that? Hey, look at this great thing. It's called CPA.
Yeah,
You guys said you wanted to do this. Here's a tool that you could, that we as a town could use.
yeah, it's a logical
I
jumping
don't
off
know.
point.
It's an
I don't
indication
know.
when we go to talk to other groups about it, and I believe that Brian is in favor of it. We can say, look, the public, this section of the public has already expressed support for it. I don't think it,
But I
don't think it weakens
I don't
us.
think you need to ask the question point blank. I think you can say, look, the survey results indicate that everything the CPA does, is at least 1/3 supported by this survey. I don't know. I agree. I think it's a leading question, and I would get rid of it.
I would be in favor of deleting the question because I think it's a big complicated thing, but if you really wanted, we could have one question that doesn't say CPA, but it could say, how much of a percent increase would you be willing to pay on your annual taxes to fund the kinds of things you supported above? And as long as it's clear, it's not is it 1% of my taxes or 1% of my house value? Those are two different things. Like, I guess what do we?
They're gonna
Don't
be
go
like,
there.
no, they don't like
House
taxes.
value.
Everybody will say nothing.
No,
I'll tell you.
Well, see, so that would be interesting to know. If nobody wants to see a little slight increase in their taxes for this thing they just said was
People
so
complain
important.
as it is.
they're
You know,
complaining about
I'm not
taxes.
going to preserve another ounce of open space until
Right.
my road is fixed.
Right. Right,
The hell with that.
yep.
And
Okay,
yet,
how about if,
before
Mind
they
here.
said they would, so.
can we leave the first part of the question there and take off the second part?
Well, not without explaining what it means. I think it's overly complicated,
Or
and I
what if,
think it's
what
the
if we
wrong
put,
context.
another thought would be to put yes, no, or I don't know what this is. Then you can,
I guess
Yeah.
I bow to the majority.
I'd get rid of it.
I don't know. What do you think, Cease?
I don't know, I know that it was on the last one, but that doesn't necessarily mean it needs to be on this one. And don't we have to do some kind of, public,
Yes.
presentation?
We do.
So we could bring it up then.
That's a
thought.
good idea.
This is a little bit like the swimming pool question. If everyone says they want a swimming area, but no one wants to pay for it.
Right,
It's the same thing.
right.
And yet we're still talking about swimming. So I don't think that we need necessarily to be afraid of putting out there what
Yeah,
the reality is. This is,
a swimming thing is a one-shot deal, pretty much, other than maintaining. But I mean, this affects everybody. I guarantee you.
people pay to use the Knot Keg Club.
Not anymore, I don't.
Well,
Put
some
in a
people still
swimming
do.
And just, it got too darn expensive.
How much was it?
$300.
$300 for.
Are you kidding me? I don't think so. I mean, it used to be like 75 when we first started,
Uh-huh,
maybe even 50. But what am I getting out of it? I'm still getting just as wet then as I was now.
Just as much sand? Yeah. Has sand gone up much?
Yeah. So, but no, it's liability insurance, it's things like that. And I'm just, I'll go someplace else.
that's why I don't think the town's gonna go for a beach.
Well, I don't know. It could well be. It's not so much the physical facilities, it's the liability.
Right,
But anyway,
Anyway,
Are we okay striking this and maybe saying if we want this information, as he said, maybe get it at a public forum or even start
Yeah.
working on it at a town meeting?
working one-on-one, yeah.
yeah, I mean, you can always yeah, I would go for that.
Okay. All right.
Cool.
Well, any debate about question number 13? Any edits to number 13?
No, I think it speaks for itself. I will,
Are there
Yeah.
enough lines there? Should we put more lines or less lines?
I made a small, the capital C on comments was a
There
problem.
you go. There had to be something.
All right, so if you're okay with getting rid of 12. Well, then what I can do is I'll play with the formatting a little bit. I'll take all this and kind of I'll send it back out for you to look at, kind of move things around so they're in a more logical order.
Do
yeah,
we wanna, do we wanna, for question 11, I'm so sorry, guys. Do we wanna say the one parcel, like,
We were gonna delete this question
oh, okay, never mind then. Sorry,
Sorry.
I missed that.
because we already know what is important to them because we asked people up here,
yeah.
what are your priorities? Choose
Yeah,
5.
Or
Well,
put another, I would put other under Bluefield. Is there something else they want to write in? Put a write-in line,
Oh, okay, yep.
something we've forgotten that.
yeah.
I don't know how you're gonna get this down to 2 pages, but
I can do it.
Or maybe Lorraine, I'll put
Yeah.
other, yeah, we have other down here at the bottom already.
Oh, okay, all right,
So they can always stick it
Just-
there.
pop it in, okay.
All right, let me take these edits and
yeah, let's just deal with the content first and then we'll figure out how to,
then once we get it all edited and cut the questions, it might, then we can, yeah, we'll have a
Yep.
better. Maybe Lorraine can play with the columns and things to get it this.
Yeah, yeah.
That's my forte.
Great.
okay?
All right, then. What else was there that we're going to be?
1 and
discussing
2.
tonight? 1 and 2? What are you talking about?
With the open space plan, we still gonna cover that?
No, not
No.
tonight. No,
Okay.
we're just gonna do the survey. then. I think we did a lot just getting through this.
Good
So,
job, guys.
I'm trying to find the agenda. It's buried under here somewhere.
I got it right here.
Yeah, what do you want?
Well, there's things like
Let's try.
Concom financing,
Well, that's a
MVP.
different thing. Yeah, MVP, it's too much. The thing about Concom financing is I just wanted to share and have a quick conversation with you, Marshall, about the town meeting and it's not under our purview, but the thought that we won't have to face that again, I think is premature.
I hear you.
And I don't know if you had any conversations with them or not, but
Well,
and to the others, it was just that the feedback I got after they retracted question, whatever it was, article number, they decided they did not.
Article
need
10.
the money.
Yeah,
If they don't need the money, then they certainly should have $500 to give us for a survey.
well, yeah, that apples and, No.
That's not the reason that they.
yeah, but I've amassed already a white paper, if you will, which explains all the reasons why they can't have our money.
Yeah.
And I've got a outstanding, and it was outstanding, question to the Commissioner of DEP, whom I used to know way back when.
Mhm.
And he responded and indicated that he or his associate would get back to me on it. So, clearly they can't have the money. They
What
just
we
can't
need to
have.
do is find a good piece of property that protects wetlands that are important and buy it.
No, you can't use the money for that.
You can't use for acquisition?
No,
What the hell can you use it for?
for compliance with the Wetlands Protection Act.
That's it.
That's all.
I think there is some exception to that, but I won't get into it tonight. I'll read through it again before I speak more about it. But I thought I had seen some.
The
other-
only, you can use the Conservation Trust Fund for acquisition.
Yeah.
But you can't use the Wetland Protection Act fees.
Still leaves me wondering how the hell that $25,000-$30,000 was in the conservation fund from so far back. Where did that money come from? We
It
used to-
started out as a donation from the town back in the 70s. I mean, I sent you the list,
Yeah.
the table, way back 2-3 years ago.
Okay, so
That shows the pluses and minuses of the fund. Based on all the data I've collected from the town. And obviously what went back into it is the Bush Hill Forest monies.
Yeah.
Um,
And that's been it, really.
well, but we, you know, for example, we spent, I don't know, $1,700 on a survey for some property up on Crosby Road. We spent some money for a gate at Bush Hill.
Yep.
You know, some other things that we've spent money for, which has
Actually,
nothing to,
that never went in. So hopefully they didn't spend it.
I might have paid for it. So don't tell me that.
Gate never went in, man.
which one? Bush Hill?
I think I can show you the invoice.
That's the
Hey,
one.
Marshall, I got a gate that I can put in for you too.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Is it in a swamp?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Yeah, it's in the Meadowlands. I know where that is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I got-
okay.
yeah.
Okay,
all right.
we can circle back to all of that, but
Yeah, so anyway, as I said, we just had the second listening session for MVP. I can fill you in later, but
yeah.
it's on its way to being finalized, God willing.
I had asked Brian to send me the list of auction sales.
Yeah,
I haven't heard anything. I don't know. I guess I can ask them when I talk to them about the mailing, but I haven't heard anything about that. If they had the sales or not, I don't know.
was there a date associated with it?
No,
May.
he said, yes, the May auction sale, which is, May is now gone. And he said that he would give me the list when it was available to the public,
You mean after the fact?
pretty much.
Yeah, after. I don't think he's done it yet.
I see that, I don't know. I tried to email
my
him
cynicism.
away and I didn't answer yet.
All right, well,
Oh, that's it.
I bother him enough as it is, so,
I will, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I tried, but he was away, so I got an automatic response that he was on vacation.
Okay, all right.
All right,
All right.
well, with
With
that,
that, I've got nothing else.
I got a
Neither
quick
do I.
question.
yes,
A quick question that we gotta go back. I'm gonna share the survey one more time. Hopefully this is quick. Can you see the survey?
Mhm.
yeah,
Okay, we had a question. What activities do you and your family enjoy? Remember that?
Mhm.
And at the bottom, I was proposing, because I saw Lorraine's comments, and Lorraine had mentioned something about ATVs or something, and I put it on mine because I was afraid we wouldn't see her doc. Do you agree to also add, I was thinking a row ATV dirt bikes to acknowledge people like to go on trails with that, snowmobiling, and motorboats, jet skis as separate rows. We want to know what people are doing, right? We shouldn't exclude the motorized people.
Do you have mountain,
we have to.
We're illegal.
I-
do you
I
have
could-
do you have mountain biking in there?
We have bicycling. Do you want to separate those, road biking and mountain biking, or
I would.
Yes,
Okay.
because they are different locations.
we can do that?
So I would be an advocate for keeping the OHVs in, which is off highway vehicle.
Did you swallow something?
I can't hear you, Anna.
Oh, what?
Can't hear you.
No?
Muffled.
You're garbled.
See, it's apparently because we're approaching the 8 o'clock hour.
45 minutes later, yes.
Try again, Anna. It might work this time.
Hear me now? Is it
No,
bad?
go ahead. We'll figure it out. Just speak slowly.
I'm going to put it in the chat.
Or speak slowly. It works.
Speak slowly.
I'm going to advocate for keeping motorized vehicles in. because the state now has conservation and motorized vehicle funds.
Really?
Yes,
Sounds like one of those anti-smoking commercials.
I know.
Oh.
And I know that it is something, that locals do already.
Yes.
So, there is now a state program that has funds for
Okay, well, good to know.
acquisition of lands. That's conservation and motorized vehicle recreation.
Oh, that's good information. Okay. Sounds good to me.
Okay, thanks.
Well, thank you, Chris, for your work on this.
Indeed.
Really?
Get this one thing done anyway. They'll
All
find out
right.
if,
all
and
right,
if we
one
don't
last
get the
thing.
money, yes,
For Lorraine, I had emailed you a couple of hours ago now. I thought there were sections that were red line changed, Triton track changes mode. Sections 1 through whatever. Is that not true?
I don't
That's
believe
real.
that happened yet. No,
No? I thought, Gary, you've been through some sections and redlined or,
I did a PDF where I've highlighted changes.
I haven't done it on Google Docs, no.
oh, okay, but have you done it in just plain Word,
PDF, yeah.
PDF?
Word,
All right, well, I don't know, if you could post those,
I can send you my PDF. I went through, I think, all of 1 and 2, and I might have started in on 3.
all right, okay, well,
I'll send them to everyone. You can all look
okay,
at them.
all right.
I was looking at the Google Doc link. I think there was comments from Gary in a Google Doc, but I think it was going back to 2017. So I wanna make sure I'm
Exactly.
looking at-
That's, I thought there was something, a little less historic.
Yeah. I think so.
You mean he made the edits in 2017 or he was working on the?
No, I think it was something he did recently.
And the Google Doc I was looking at had comments, I think, from 2017. So
Right,
maybe
that's what I was seeing.
maybe make sure whatever we're supposed to be looking at is in the folder, and then maybe delete the old stuff so we don't actually start commenting on the wrong document.
Yeah, I don't think we care about your comments from 2017.
Already did them, yeah. Past history.
Well, I'll put what I have up on the. Google
Okay.
Doc. It's called working document.
That would help.
Okay,
Oh, God.
Wow.
picking it up.
Well, so much for a short meeting.
Step
Yeah.
away from your computers. I make a motion to adjourn.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Howell and I,
Aye.
Aye.
Good night.
Good night, guys. Thank you.
bye.
Bye, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Yes.